Every physical movement you make and every thought crossing your mind right now requires energy. That kinetic and cognitive power began its journey millions of miles away as a single photon of light. All living organisms require a steady input of food for growth, cellular repair, and temperature maintenance. But humans lack the biological hardware to process raw sunlight directly. This comparison shows the two halves of an interconnected system, a green leaf capturing sunlight, opposite the human circulatory system that ultimately uses it. Our survival depends on tracking how energy is trapped by plants, consumed by animals, and processed internally. Understanding human biology requires looking past the idea that we are independent machines. We are simply the final stop in a microscopic planetary relay race. Looking at this autotroph diagram, we see the world's primary producers at work. Organisms like this sunflower synthesize chemical compounds by pulling raw light energy, carbon dioxide, and water directly from their environment. This diagram takes us inside the green factory where that synthesis happens, the chloroplast. It is a specialized three-membrane organelle containing stacked sac-like structures called grana, which sit inside a fluid-filled portion called the stroma. This chart maps the photochemical phase. On the left, photons activate chlorophyll, splitting water to release oxygen. In the light-independent reaction, the process moves into the fluid stroma. Hydrogen combines with carbon dioxide to forge complex molecules of glucose. The plant then stores this newly synthesized glucose as starch to use later as an internal power source. The true function of a plant is to operate as an environmental factory. It converts transient solar radiation into stable, consumable chemical batteries. Returning to our earlier diagram, we look at the heterotroph side. Consumers, like this deer, lack the cellular machinery to prepare their own food. They must extract it by consuming other organisms. This illustration models holozoic nutrition, a strategy shared by microscopic single-celled organisms and humans alike. It requires the physical intake of whole, solid organic material. But simply swallowing those plant batteries is insufficient. Human cells cannot utilize complex organic matter in its raw, solid form. To extract that trapped solar energy, the human body runs a violent, highly coordinated dismantling operation. This overview map shows the human alimentary canal. It is a long, continuous tube extending from the mouth to the anus, specialized at various points to crush complex molecules into absorbable fuel. This diagram shows the initial phase. Teeth crush food through mastication, and salivary glands secrete amylase. Food is forced down the esophagus via peristalsis. Inside the stomach, it is violently churned with acidic juices, degrading proteins into a semi-solid mass. This diagram tracks the mass entering the duodenum. The liver secretes bile to emulsify large fat drops without enzymes. Simultaneously, pancreatic juices finalize the breakdown of proteins and fats, shifting the condition to alkaline to activate the final digestive enzymes. This aggressive mechanical and chemical gauntlet is the biological toll required to liberate raw energy from its physical form. Reducing food to a simple liquid substance is only the first step. To be useful, it actually has to cross over into the human body. This cross-section reveals how the small intestine maximizes absorption. The interior is lined with thousands of microscopic projections called villi, drastically increasing surface area. They act as the crossing point, transporting glucose, amino acids, and fats directly into the body's blood vessels. This specific moment of absorption is the exact point where captured solar energy finally becomes usable human fuel. Running this biological engine successfully also requires the micronutrients shown in this vitamin compendium. These are vital organic substances our bodies need in small quantities to survive, forcing us to rely on external sources to synthesize them for us. After the usable energy is extracted, the undigested solid waste is expelled. Meanwhile, as your cells burn that absorbed glucose for power, you continuously breathe out carbon dioxide as a byproduct. This life cycle diagram shows where that carbon dioxide goes. It feeds back into the plants, completing a perpetual ecological loop that permanently connects your daily existence to the energy of the sun.